It's J.Lo time, you guys. Why is J.Lo having a bad time? Well, it's because when her documentary came out, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, people started going in on Jenny from the block. And they've also dug up old comments of hers, which are pretty bad, I will say. They're very cringe. Jennifer Lopez has a huge ego. There's no denying that. She is a narcissistic queen and thinks a lot of herself, and clearly still is that way, considering that she spent $20 million of her own money on this project of hers because nobody would finance it. But she truly believed that that needed to be out in the world. Her love story, the greatest love story never told, needed to be told. Topping the reasons why people dislike J.Lo has always been her seeming obsession with the spotlight. Obviously, all celebrities want publicity to a certain extent, but Lopez often takes attention seeking to another level, whether it's her torturous tango with Ben Affleck, the frequent overhyping of her own talents, or her harsh criticism of other women. Not cool, Jennifer Lopez. With that in mind, let's dig into all the reasons why people seem to be losing their love for Jenny from the block. All right, so this is a 1998 movie line interview that resurfaced. The internet never forgets. And she had quite a few things to say about her fellow female actresses. So let me read them to you. Now that Lopez has edged up to what she calls the bottom of the A-list of actresses, how does she view the women with whom she's been in contention for roles? Like, say, Salma Hayek. Well, we're in two different realms. She's a sexy bombshell, and those are the kinds of roles she does. I do all kinds of different things. It makes me laugh when she says that she got offered Selena, which was an outright lie. If that's what she does to get herself publicity, then that's her thing. Columbia offered me the choice of Fools Rush In or Anaconda, but I chose the fun B movie because the Fool's script wasn't strong enough. Okay, now a couple things. You have to remember that this is from the era when celebrities said really nasty shit about each other, okay? That era ended, I would say, circa 2014, when publicists took over celebrities' social media accounts. Back in the day, celebrities were known for saying kind of crazy shit about one another in interviews, both for paper and on TV, and then also on social media. We all know what Rihanna was acting like on Twitter. We all know what Lady Gaga was saying on Twitter in the early days. It was messy. People were talking shit. Anywho, so it doesn't surprise me that J.Lo, now this is particularly egregious, I will say, even given that this was much more normal than it would be today. Like, today, you wouldn't have celebrities going in on one another like this, unless it was politically safe for them to do so. But simply saying the stuff that Jennifer Lopez is saying here does not happen nowadays. Cameron Diaz, here's what J.Lo says. A lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities. I just wish she would have done more with. She's beautiful and has a great presence, though, and in My Best Friend's Wedding, I thought, when directed, she can be good. Ah! J.Lo! You're such a when directed, she can be good. Now you know. Now, remember the whole Mariah Carey, I don't know her? Makes a little bit more sense why she acts that way. Jennifer Lopez, I don't know her. I mean, I don't know her. Gwyneth Paltrow, here's what J.Lo says. Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but to say that about Gwyneth Paltrow, especially in the 90s, Gwyneth Paltrow has had way more prestigious roles than Jennifer Lopez has. Shakespeare in Love came out in Shakespeare in Love. Okay, hold the phone. This interview was the year that Gwyneth Paltrow was in Shakespeare in Love, which she won the Best Actress Oscar for. Girl! Or Seven, which came out in 1995. Came out a couple years before J.Lo was like, I'm sorry, but who's Gwyneth Paltrow? Like, what's she even been in? Huh? This was the era that Gwyneth Paltrow was working, okay? This isn't 2024 when Gwyneth is just selling her Goop products. This is the 90s. Gwyneth Paltrow was working. We're talking Perfect Murder. We're talking Emma. We're talking Great Expectations. We're talking Hook. We're talking Talented Mr. Ripley. We're talking Seven. We're talking Shakespeare in Love, Sliding Door. I mean, truly, she was one of the biggest actresses in Hollywood. Let's not pretend otherwise. She has certainly had a more bustling acting career than Jennifer Lopez has. Now, J.Lo's been in some... She's been in some great stuff, but J.Lo, she doesn't have a Best Actress Oscar either. So to pretend that Gwyneth Paltrow is a nobody, come on, J.Lo. Okay, here's what she has to say on Claire Danes. A good actress. Her emotional and inner life are available to her, which is a good start. But I feel like I see a lot of the same thing with every character she does. She's not that way in U-Turn, though. J.Lo's out here acting like she's Meryl Streep, okay? Sorry, I'm not sorry. She's not. J.Lo giving notes while simultaneously being catty as on all of these actresses is hilarious. Winona Ryder, here's what J.Lo has to say. I was never a big fan of hers. In Hollywood, she's revered. She gets nominated for Oscars, but I've never heard anyone in the public or among my friends say, oh, I love her. She's cute and talented, though, and I'd like her just for looking like my older sister, Leslie. We're talking about Winona Ryder. We're talking about the Winona Ryder you hate. I've never heard anyone in the public or among my friends say, oh, I love her. Jennifer, come on, baby. Come on. Now we understand Mariah Carey's, I don't know her, about J.Lo. Because J.Lo was the queen of doing this. J.Lo was the queen of being like, yeah, I don't know. She's cute. I don't think anybody really knows who she is, though. And she's talking about an Oscar-winning actress. Okay, here we go. Madonna. Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do. So I'm harder on... Acting is what I do. So I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that. I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft. Acting is what you do. I mean, I don't want to erase Selena. And I don't want to erase this out. Like, I like J.Lo's movies. Let me be clear about this, okay? But yeah, calm down, Made in Manhattan. What are we about? J.Lo, you're known for like B- rom-coms. That's the bulk of her work, okay? We're talking Monster-in-Law. We're talking Made in Manhattan, The Wedding Planner, The Backup Plan, Marry Me, Second Act, Shotgun Wedding, Jersey Girl, Angel Eyes, and let's not forget the amazingly bad Gigli with the J.Lo line. It's turkey time, gobble gobble. A lot of her work is elevated Lifetime films, okay? So, when the interview was criticized, J.Lo claimed she was misrepresented. I was so misquoted and so taken out of context, and it's a sore subject for me. Lopez told Vanity Fair 3 years later, we gotta stop calling the words that we say and the entirety of what we say as being taken out of context when we are criticized for it. What is the context? Jennifer Lopez, you saying about Gwyneth Paltrow, tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work. What's the context there, babes? J.Lo said, I don't like to hurt anybody. I don't like to hurt their feelings. I like to joke, so I do that sometimes. Oh, those are all jokes. Okay, got it. What they wrote in that article hurt people. I love that she's like, it's actually your guys' fault. You hurt people. I don't like to hurt people. I didn't realize that my words could impact people that way. You know, I was a nobody at that time. Oh, you're nobody now? Okay. So I was still in that kind of fan mentality back in the Bronx. Other famous quotes from the interview include her thoughts on stealing a lead role from Sandra Bullock. I have this attitude and it won't change no matter how big I get, that you have to fight for things you want. You can't expect things to be handed to you on a platter, even if you can fill theaters week in and week out, because there's always somebody like me ready to kick down the door and steal the job right out from under you. What? I don't think Jennifer Lopez was ever going to be stealing a role from Sandra Bullock. Sorry. And then there's this little nugget about her husband at the time, Ohani Noah. It's tough for me because the men I'm attracted to, for some reason, haven't gotten it together. Even my husband, I feel, has a lot of potential, but he's not at the point where, I mean, even though he has lots of contacts, even though he's doing his own thing, opening a club and restaurant here, whatever business he gets in, he's not going to make as much money as me. That's something he has to deal with and live with, which is tough for someone like him. You go, girl. Similarly, Lopez seems to have a tendency to talk over others and bring nearly all topics of conversation back to herself. An actress roundtable is circulating on TikTok, and in one clip, Scarlett Johansson is praising Laura Dern only to have Lopez cut her off mid-sentence and start talking about her own performance. How have I never seen this?
Since we're on the topic of J.Lo, you guys have to see this actresses roundtable where it's just like the most brilliant, talented, amazing women. Lupita would like answer a question and answer it with such brilliance and knowledge, and you just want to listen to her forever. And J.Lo just interrupts and like out of nowhere starts talking about hustlers.
But with us, I had to play two characters in one movie, and I had the time it usually takes me to prepare for one. And these two characters are diametrically opposed to each other. They're individual, but they're also two entities that ultimately are one.
I think you're always kind of excited at the undertaking of a new role, a new movie. And I've done them for so long, and a lot of us have here, that you're not nervous. There's like butterflies, but it's not it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go down in flames. Right. It's not that nervous. But this was the first time in a long time that I was actually terrified to do that opening number, which I suggest.
I'm dead at her being like, I've been doing movies a long time. I mean, a lot of us have here.
To dance on the pole. I have to show them. I have to go there. And even though that's scary, and in my mind I was like, it's gonna be scary, but it's not. But then when I was there, and I have the dental floss on, and you know what I mean? And I'm out there like in a way I've never been. It was so scary. It was so terrifying.
Wait, we might one day have to go back and watch this actress roundtable.
Like my heart.
Oh my God, she just keeps going. She just keeps going.
Nobody's even responding.
And she's walking onto the stage, and everybody's excited.
What?
And the shoot, and here we go towards the stage, and I have my robe on, and there's 300 extras.
And you can tell by the way that she's like hyping herself up, like she really, really thinks that she deserves an Oscar for her performance.
I am dead. I really am. I cannot believe what a perfect clip that is. What I have to go. I have to watch that actress roundtable. I have to see the whole thing. J.Lo is that one girl in English class who never did the reading, but who's always talking. Oh, that's so true, assessed one commenter. Others in the comments were wondering why Lopez was even part of the roundtable, given that many of the other actresses are considered more successful and well-rounded. Oh my God. For all her self-hype and criticism of others, it's generally agreed upon that most of Lopez's movies are underwhelming at best or wholeheartedly cringe at worst. She has starred in over 30 films, but most people can only name a couple, and the plots of those movies are suspiciously similar. A reserved woman who's overlooked until she gets a makeover and then is suddenly a bombshell swept off her feet. That plot is fun from time to time, but it's not exactly a full-bodied acting career. Similarly, her music career is peppered with pop hits, but none of them are particularly moving or memorable. Oh man, the Ben Affleck saga. This list would not be complete without mentioning J.Lo's tumultuous relationship with Ben Affleck, which seems just as strained and performative today as it did 15 years ago when the pair were splashed on every tabloid. Affleck's miserable face being forever preserved as a meme might be a hint that Lopez might not be the most pleasant person to live with. That and the fact that she famously let random musicians rife through his private love letters to her without his consent for inspiration is yet another moment of questionable cringe. For those unfamiliar with the story, Lopez wanted to make an album about her and Affleck's romantic reunion and invited musicians to her house. That's when she shared the private letters, which Affleck had titled The Greatest Love Story Never Told. In a recent documentary, viewers can see Affleck looking shocked when his private letters are being passed around. I understand this picture now.